To me, this is one of the most important photos yet from the Artemis II mission. It's the moon and a crescent Earth on the right. I mean, it's a gorgeous photo of the moon and of the Earth. But to me, this is so special because it really shows the distance between us and our closest neighbor in the solar system. Going to space is special and it's hard, but going to the moon is so much harder than going anywhere else that humans have gone. The International Space Station is about 400 kilometers above the surface of the Earth, but the moon is almost 400,000 kilometers from Earth. That's 1,000 times further, and I think this photo really shows it. Of course, the moon is bigger than the Earth in this photo, just because the astronauts were so much closer to the moon when they took the photo. In reality, the Earth is much larger. This photo shows how hard the Artemis II journey has been, how special it is for us to witness this moment, and how isolated these astronauts have been. We've got another batch of photos from the Artemis II mission around the moon as the crew heads back to Earth as I speak. Splashdown in the Pacific Ocean will happen soon, and shortly after, we should start seeing more and more high-quality images, and probably more excitingly, high-quality video from the mission and the lunar flyby. This should be special footage, and I can't wait to share it with you. Until then, let's enjoy the photos that we've been treated to already. I mean, this is the crew after taking some of these images. Look how excited they are, so you know they must be good. Also, do check out my other videos to see the other photos from Artemis II so far, because in this video, we're only focusing on the brand new stuff. This is the sort of view that the 4 astronauts have been getting out of the window of their Orion module. These were taken during the 7 hours of close lunar flyby the crew experienced on April 6, 2026. A large, imposing moon, covered in craters and dark, so-called mare regions, where ancient lava flows scarred the lunar surface. The moon would have been slowly growing in the windows, filling the landscape at closest approach, and is now shrinking back into the blackness of space as the crew head home. Another important image to me is this image of our Milky Way galaxy, a 10-second exposure photo that the crew captured when they looked away from the moon and the Earth into the darkness of space and into our home galaxy. Recently, we've been spoiled by cosmic images from telescopes like Hubble, Euclid, and JWST. And of course, these are not rivaled by this Artemis II image in terms of resolution or depth. However, for some very human reason, having a person in space physically pressing a button to take the photo of deep space while in deep space makes this image hit very differently. And I think it's important to feel these things when viewing the universe in this unique way. We're not just looking at the stars here, we're stepping into them once again as a species. One of the crew, Christina Cook, has said during the mission, "Ultimately, we will always choose Earth. We will always choose each other." And this photo sums up that sentiment to me. Seeing the looming moon, but choosing to come home to Earth. The rare view of the far side of the moon dominates the foreground of the image, where we can notice there are many more crater impacts than we see on the near side, and fewer dark mare regions. The crescent Earth in the background, hanging in space, still feels special as it's a way of seeing the Earth that most of us have never experienced. The other things that we can see in the image are just lens flare. They're not physical things out there in space, but they are beautiful. Again, here we get a similar but rotated view of the moon and our home planet, together with some nice lens effects, giving these ethereal red, green, and bluey artifacts in the image. Here we can see the moon with a similar lens effect above the moon's curved limb, where craters dominate the landscape. In this closer view, we can see the Hertzsprung Basin, an enormous 570-kilometer wide impact crater on the far side of the moon. The crater itself has also been impacted many times by more recent impacts, resulting in a mountainous terrain in the crater itself. Near the lower left, we can also see a pretty nice crater called the Vavilov crater, with its distinctive central peak that the astronauts mentioned many times while describing their flyby. This image shows the Oriental Basin, a feature we talked about many times in my video about the first batch of moon images, and it's one of the youngest and best preserved lunar craters. Here is a slightly wider shot of the same region, where the dramatic landscape comes into view, and we can see many more craters. Here we get some beautifully contrasting areas of the moon in shot together, with light and dark lunar features on the moon playing off of each other beautifully. This area was described by the Artemis II crew as a handprint, and the specific named regions that we can see are the Oceanus Procellarum, Mare Humorum, the Sea of Moisture, and the Burgess crater. The small, bright spot at the center of this image is the crater that the Artemis crew have proposed be named Carol, after Commander Reed's late wife. It's about 3.5 miles across, and is sometimes visible from Earth with a telescope, along the moon's western edge. This photo again shows the 600-mile-wide Oriental crater, while here we get a reminder of the moon's violent past of meteor impacts, as we see so many craters dotting the moon's vast landscape. This reasonably wide photo of the moon shows many lunar landmarks that we've discussed before, including Ohm crater, Grimaldi crater, Carol crater, the Hertzsprung basin, Oceanus Procellarum, and Pierazzo crater, in a real tapestry of features. This photo also shows a similar array of features across the surface of the moon, including the brightly colored Aristarchus crater, the Marius Hills, which is a field of volcanic domes and cones. There's the Reiner Gamma swirl, which contrasts against the darker Mare surface, and the Glushko crater has rays that streak across the lunar plains. At the bottom, the dark-colored Grimaldi crater anchors the whole scene together, and all of these features and more can be seen in this wider shot of the image. We can then once again punch out even wider to see it all once again, but this time in a brighter photo, contrasting beautifully with the blackness of space behind. Here we can see the southwest portion of the Oriental basin, highlighting its prominent annular ring, which is a sweeping arc of mountains formed during the high-energy impact that formed the basin. The ring structure rises above the surrounding surface, tracing the basin's outer boundary and revealing the layered, multi-ring nature of Oriental. During Apollo observations in the 60s and 70s, some nicknamed this formation the Kiss, due to its distinctive curved shape. This bright feature against the dark background is the Aristarchus crater, making another appearance. And this view of the moon shows off the Terminator, the dividing line between day and night, which is anything but a straight line here, thanks to the rugged, mountainous terrain of the moon. These mountains give us little islands of light in the night, and in particular this shot highlights beautifully the giant chains of craters we can see on our lunar neighbor. These emerge from the 3.7 billion-year-old Oriental basin, and even go on to mark the surface of the Hertzsprung basin in the center of the image, telling us that that basin must be even older. This magical view was captured at the beginning of the hour-long solar eclipse that the crew witnessed during their flyby. There is the sun setting behind a wedge of the moon, with a few rays stretching out one last time before disappearing and leaving our explorers in darkness. Those explorers weren't bothered though, and in these photos taken during and after the lunar observations, they're quite clearly having the journey and the time of their lives. And of course, they didn't forget to include Rise in some of these photos. That's their little plush toy designed for this mission, and that's been by their side the entire time, even carrying the names of over 3 million people who signed up to send their name around the moon. A couple of the astronauts were even caught at the window in these selfies taken from the wing of Orion. And of course, they didn't forget to show Rise the view too. I'll leave you with more photos of our astronauts enjoying the view and the trip as I say thank you for watching. We will get much more footage and video very soon from the mission, and importantly, the lunar flyby, and I'll bring it all to you right here on the channel. So please consider subscribing if you don't want to miss all of that, plus loads of other videos about all things space. Until next time, stay safe team. I'll see you soon. Bye!